Just sign it, she won't even know. My mother whispered to the doctor while I lay there, hearing everything. My brother nodded. I tried speaking. Then my sister said, "Stop. My name is Alyssa Morgan. I'm 37 years old, and I've spent most of my life working as a registered nurse in a busy city hospital where decisions are made fast and lives depend on clear thinking. I was always the calm one in my family, the person who handled emergencies without panic, the one people called when something went wrong. Growing up, my voice never carried much weight at home, even though I understood more than most. They trusted me when they needed help, but ignored me when it came to real decisions. I wasn't rich or glamorous, but I had something they didn't expect. I understood systems, people, and truth better than they realized. I kept track of things, quietly, conversations, promises, patterns. I learned early that what people say when they think you're powerless reveals everything. That skill stayed with me, and it would matter more than anyone in that room understood. If you've ever had your voice ignored even when it mattered most, hit subscribe and stay here. This story is for people who were spoken over and pushed aside. Drop your experience in the comments and click like or hype if you've ever had to fight to be heard. I woke up in a hospital bed with a dry throat and heavy chest. The smell of disinfectant strong in the air. Machines beeped steadily beside me, each sound sharp and constant. I couldn't move much, but I could hear everything. My family stood near the foot of the bed, speaking in low voices. My mother leaned closer to the doctor and said, "It's better if you just sign it now," my brother added. "She wouldn't want to live like this." I tried to lift my hand, but it barely moved. My voice came out weak, barely a whisper, and no one responded. The doctor hesitated and asked, "Are you sure this reflects her wishes?" My mother nodded quickly. "We know her better than anyone." I felt something inside me drop. They were deciding my future while I was still awake, still aware. I tried again to speak, but the sound never reached them. My chest tightened, not from pain, but from realization. This wasn't confusion. This was a choice. They were choosing for me. The doctor looked uncertain, flipping through papers slowly. Then my sister stepped forward, her voice cutting through the room. "Wait," she said, louder this time. "When did she agree to this?" The room shifted. Everyone turned toward her. That moment cracked something open. At first, they acted like nothing serious had happened. My mother told relatives that I had always been clear about my wishes, even though that was not true. My brother repeated the same story, saying she didn't want to depend on machines. I listened from my bed as nurses passed by, pretending to sleep. Then came the second betrayal. They started telling people my condition was worse than it was. "She might not recover," my mother said on the phone. I could hear every word. They were shaping a story that removed me from it completely. The third betrayal came quietly, but hit harder. They began controlling who could speak to me. Calls were filtered. Updates were given without my input. I was there, but not included. I started noticing patterns, the same phrases, the same rehearsed concern. It wasn't fear driving them, it was control. I stopped trying to interrupt. Instead, I listened, every word, every contradiction. I began writing notes when I could, short and careful. Times, statements, reactions. I used what little strength I had to document everything. They thought I was too weak to notice. They were wrong. Inside, something changed. The confusion faded. In its place came focus, quiet, steady, and growing stronger with each moment. What they didn't know was I had already prepared for situations like this years ago. Working in hospitals teaches you quickly that people don't always respect your choices when you cannot speak. I had filled out official documents, clear and detailed, about my medical wishes. Copies were stored digitally and physically. I remembered exactly where they were. I also remembered conversations with my family, times when they made assumptions about what I wanted. I had recorded some of those discussions in the past, not for revenge, but because I didn't trust their memory. I had a plan they never saw coming. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet and precise. I signaled my sister earlier. Small movements, eye contact, something only she would notice. She had always been different. Not perfect, but not blind either. The evidence I had wasn't just paperwork. It was patterns, proof, and truth, waiting to be revealed at the right moment. Dr. Harris, a senior doctor I had worked with for years, stepped into the situation quietly. He reviewed my chart, then paused. "Something doesn't match here," he said calmly. He knew me well enough to question things. He looked at my sister, then back at my family. My sister hesitated at first, but I saw it in her face. She was starting to understand. My mother kept speaking confidently. "We've already explained everything," she said. Dr. Harris didn't respond immediately. He checked the system again. "I'd like to confirm this directly," he said. My brother shifted uncomfortably. The control they thought they had started slipping. They didn't see it yet, but I did. My sister moved closer to me, watching carefully. The room felt tight, the air heavy with something building. They still believed they had already won. They talked about next steps, future decisions, as if I wasn't part of them. I stayed quiet, waiting. Timing mattered now more than anything. Dr. Harris closed the file and looked directly at my family. "Before anything is signed, we need clarity," he said. My mother tried to interrupt, but he raised his hand slightly. I gathered what strength I had and forced my voice out. "I never agreed to this," I said, each word slow but clear. The room froze. My sister stepped forward immediately. "She told me something different," she added. Dr. Harris turned the screen toward them, showing my official directives. Signed, dated, clear. My brother shook his head. "That doesn't mean anything," he said, but his voice lacked confidence. I spoke again, stronger this time. "You don't get to decide this for me." Silence spread across the room. My mother looked stunned. The authority they held disappeared in seconds. Facts replaced assumptions. My sister stood beside me, not saying much, but not stepping back either. Control shifted completely. After that moment, everything changed. Decisions were made with me, not around me. My family had to step back and face what they had done. Some tried to explain, others stayed quiet. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. The truth had already done its work. My sister stayed close, helping in small ways, rebuilding something that had been weak for years. I focused on getting stronger, physically and mentally. The experience stayed with me, not as anger, but as clarity. I understood something I hadn't before. Being silent doesn't protect you. Speaking does. Even when it's hard. Even when your voice shakes. They tried to decide my ending, but I chose to take my life back. You know how powerful that moment feels. Share your story in the comments and let others know they're not alone. Subscribe to be part of a community that values your voice. Click hype to help this story reach others who need it. Your story has power. If you felt a connection to mine, please subscribe and share your journey in the comments. Every hype you give this video helps empower someone else. Thank you for being here and for listening.